welcome to the round 2, day 2-1 match. It is Code A of GSL season 5 of 2012. I stumbled there, Collar, but I knew you were here with me. I looked at you, I knew I could fix everything.
Yep, that was fine. It was absolutely beautiful, Wolf. Don't worry about it. Today we have our afternoon session with a place that can certainly well, you see?
See? I don't know what's
to me
going
too.
on, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Then you can see on screen right now, Shine versus SOS is kicking things off today, and then we have Squirtle versus Yonghwa. A pretty top-tier Protoss versus Protoss before we head into Byal versus Keen. The new LGIM Zerg has to prove himself here. And then the end of our afternoon session will be marked by another PvP with Trap versus Vampire.
Yeah, not quite as many Terran versus Terrans as yesterday in this one. In fact, 0 in the list, so we had a lot of different matchups today, just not the one that you guys saw yesterday. Few Protoss versus Protosses, in fact, and looks like the players are ready. We are loading up Daybreak, which is map number 1, between Shine and SOS, Zerg versus Protoss. Here at the GSL Code A out on Wolf.
Yep, Shine has to prove himself here once again in the second round. That's how far he got in the last season. The season before, he had to face one of his teammates in the third round. Was not too successful. So he's been around in Code A for quite some time. On the other hand, of course, we have SOS who got into Code S the last season, and now he has to fight for his life in Code A. Game number 1 is going to be on Daybreak. Let's jump into game 1 right now. Bottom left of the map in red, we have our TSL Zerg player. He is TSL Shine. Now we have him, the youngster.
Yep. His coach saying he's not very good in this matchup right now.
Well, that's the same stuff that he told us yesterday about Sender's TVT, and then suddenly Sender completely obliterated Björn. Top right now we have, of course, SOS, our Protoss in blue, aka Shy.
He's going to go for a Forge in the main, it looks like.
Yeah. No pylon on the low ground here on Daybreak. Usually we see the Forge in the main base then, but occasionally players start off with the Gateway first here. It's more a style that the Europeans seem to like. We have a few different timings, especially players like Feast.
You know, a lot of Kessel players have been playing this style because it's an older style, and Kessel players are a few years behind, so it takes them a little bit while to adjust. And I think when you're first starting out StarCraft 2, you feel a little more natural as a Protoss player to make the Gateway.
Wasn't that a harsh statement that you just threw out there, like really nonchalant? The Casper players are a few years behind.
Well, I mean, it's quite true though. They haven't been playing StarCraft 2 as long as the other players, and they have to catch up.
I know exactly what you're saying, but it's really funny if you put a statement like this and you just put it, you know, how you phrase it and how you put it into your sentence, and then everybody's like nodding. It's like, yeah, true. Nobody really thinks about what was said, and it's like, wait a second. There's the Gateway, by the way, so we don't see the Forge first. Sometimes, as mentioned, a player will start with the Forge first in the main base so that you can hide your upgrades and that you are also ready for a little bit of an earlier push. But right now what you can see is that we have a Gateway opening for Shy, and the Overlord is not there yet for Shine to scout that there is no expansion on the low ground and no attempted wall.
Yeah, by the way, that was a very late Gateway. It looked like he was going to Nexus first and then Forge in the main with his timing there, but it's a very late Gateway, and he's only got 1 gas now. Is he just going to make a Nexus? Weird, but I like it. It's like that first new experience you have where you're like, I'm not sure, you're getting a little bit nervous, you're not really sure what's going to happen, and then suddenly something big pops out, and you're like, whoa, that's a Nexus. That's not a core. There's the core, though. That's actually a core. That's a Gateway that's selected. There's the core. All right, now there's no confusion.
There we have it. That's the Gateway. That's where you can build the units. That's what we just saw on camera. And there's the Overlord. Having a quick glimpse, so Shine knows what's going on. And yeah, we talked to Shine about Shine a little bit already. But he's, of course, one of the strong Zerg players that we have in the roster for TSL. And one of the guys that has been in Code A for quite a while now. I think actually it's 3 seasons. I'm not quite sure if it's 4, but I think it's 3. I think this is his 3rd season now. In the first season, he got into the 3rd round. In the second season, he was defeated in round 2. Was really close getting through the up and downs every single time. But this time we have him in round 2 once again. That's a strong Casper Protoss player. And, well, maybe today he's a little bit more lucky. In round 1, he defeated another Casper Protoss. He defeated Jungby.
Yep. Very true.
It was a pretty interesting match, by the way, especially Abyssal City Junkie with that Void Ray attack. That was pretty cool. Completely
awesome.
blindsided Shine.
I wonder what SOS is going to do as a follow-up, by the way. With this build, we didn't talk about this too much, but the main advantage of this build versus the Forge Fast Expands, the Warp Gate timing is so fast, he could just follow this up with a 4 gateway attack.
Yeah, he builds those 3 gateways right now, and of course they are also part of a wall there at the front, so you will be able to see them if you send an Overlord or Encircling in. That's, of course, something that he knows.
Oh, wow, and he's already seen it?
Yeah, talking about that Zergling, man.
And this is actually really frustrating for SOS, of course. He will be able to deal with that Zergling, but it's a little bit annoying. Roachborn just started now as he starts to realize the trouble he may find himself in. Uh-oh, that Zergling is not microed. That's a problem.
Yeah. The probe not killed, but he gets the scouting information. And, well, this Stalker has to get away there. With 2 queens, that's just a little bit too much. Zerglings are now being built for Shine, and he has on the production tab also the speed upgrade. That won't be an issue just yet for SOS, but still he has to be a little bit careful that he at least is not caught on creep.
Yep, he needs to warp in Zealots mainly at this point. The Pylon finishes, he warps in 4 Zealots. The perfect, appropriate response to what he's seen so far. Now, with this type of 4 gateway attack, you want to switch between Zealots and Stalkers depending on what you see. If you see Roaches, you start the Stalk. If you see Zealots, or Sealings, you make Zealots just like you see here. But the Queens are actually the reason why this build doesn't really work like it used to work in 2010. And like I said, man, this is a Kessler player using a build that is kind of like 2 years old. And it didn't work. He's really behind now. He's got no real tech. He's just now adding his 2nd gas along with his 3rd one, even going up to all 3 assimilators.
And that's a big problem that you already pointed out. No tech. He doesn't have a robotics. We don't see Twilight Council. There's just nothing that he can use to prepare accordingly. And with the Zerglings that we have on the map right now, Shine has a bit of map dominance that he can use. He can establish himself in 3rd base now. He has a lot of options where to go from here. He could even just try to apply a lot more pressure, which is basically what he's trying to do, but it won't be too successful. He's backing off already, as you can see, but he still has this Link presence on the map, and now he's using all this dominance to get a 3rd base and to also get lair tech at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas Shai is just now getting his first Forge.
Exactly, and consider as well that because he made so many Zerglings, that's one thing that SOS was able to accomplish. Now he's even in Harvest, in fact, taking a slightly at 40 to 38. So, you know, all the larvae used on Zerglings was not used on drones. That means that he's a little bit behind in Harvesters. He would want to have his 3rd base up much faster. So the trade-off here is okay for SOS, but that pressure didn't do as much as he wanted to. Now he's adding 3 additional gateways, may actually follow this up with a big 7 gateway attack with +1.
Yeah, that's one of the options that he of course has. If he doesn't want to go into a higher attack, then with a gateway attack he might have a shot here. And as you can see, those 3 gateways that are currently being built indicate that we will see a heavy gateway attack from SOS, which also means that he is very much all in with the strategy.
Yeah. It doesn't seem likely he's going to take another Nexus. I mean, he would have made his gateways at the Nexus as a wall if that were going to be the case. He's also walling off now. Add his natural, adding a Photon Cannon. If
Shine now gets Overseer and scouts what's going on here, then he should be able to prepare. He needs a few roaches with this. And there they are, 10 roaches on the tap. +1 and speed has been started.
He's going to need to warp in a sentry here to defend. In fact, he warps in 2 Zealots, and that's not a wall.
The Zerglings are in at the top right. Top right.
Yep, top right there are some Zealots, or Lings rather, getting past the Zealots, and he will be able to clean this up, but so much mining is being lost. The Force Seals go down, trapping the Roaches here a little bit.
That's a really good position.
Yes.
Good position for Shine right now. He actually blocks the ramp, makes sure that no units get down there, but the main base is really taken down by Shine at the top right. SOS is losing everything there.
Yeah, a lot of probes going down. Right now he's down to 30 workers. He's got to make everything work with this army right now. He's got nothing else to fall back on. To be honest, with +1 finishing up for Shine, he's got a lot of Roaches coming out. Speed is almost not as well as Burrow with no Observer tech.
Shine is happy to sec this third.
I think he is actually in an almost unlosable position in this game right now. He still has a Ling in the main. He puts the probe count down to 26.
26 against 50 Harvesters. That's pretty devastating. A very good economy still for Shine, even though he's 2 base against 2 base. But look at all these units. He's pressuring SOS into a corner, and SOS GG's out of the game. He knows that there's nothing that he can do right now.
Yep, his timing attacks were all thwarted. Shine, Sand. Well, that was old and weird, but I'm going to take an early lead here. And despite what my coach thinks, you know, maybe I don't have to play a standard Zerg versus Pross. Maybe I can just defend a weird push and take an early lead. And maybe, just maybe, all I have to do is win 1 game one more game, and he can advance to the third round of Code.
Do you know what we have to establish in Korea, Wolf?
What is that?
A new show.
Yeah.
We have to teach people. We make an educational show in Korea. I think GOM might be able to actually stream it out to the audience. We make like show emotions for players in 3 steps for beginners, advanced, and of course for the professionals later on.
Yeah.
If you win a game, you have to express yourself, and there are so few Koreans who can actually do that. MC being one of them. Ace, of course, is a master. We could invite him to, well, show the beginners how it's done.
Yeah.
Translate a little bit as well.
We need to get some.
We need that.
We need to get some VOD highlights of good emotions as well.
I want a Shine that just jumps up and fist pumps like crazy, and it's like, oh yeah, baby, game 1 is mine.
You know, you don't always have to have these old pro gamers who used to be really successful, like Huck, for example, with the birthday hat thing. You don't have to be that fancy, but you know, you can do something in the booth when you win.
Yeah. It's actually not against the rules. I checked.
Yeah.
Well, game 2 is on, and let's jump into the game here. Cloud Kingdom. To the top right, we have our Zerg in the lead. 1